Welcome to my English session. We all know farmers are the persons who grow food grains, pulses, vegetables and fruits which are very necessary for the survival of human beings on earth. Farming is not an easy thing. It involves different steps. First, the land has to be wet. Then the farmer will plough that land. Then he will sow the seeds. Then he has to supply water in the frequent intervals of time. And then if the plants or the crop get any insects, he has to spray insecticides and pesticides for that. He has to get rid of all those insects. And then finally, he will get his crop. After that, he has to harvest that crop. Means cut those crops and clean it, and then which will be ready for consumption. Nowadays, growing crops is little bit easier because for water supply, we will depend on so many canals and tube wells are there. But in olden days, they depended only on rain, and the farmers used to grow crops easily without any hindrance. We are reading a story about a farmer by name Velu, a good farmer and hard worker. He plowed his land, he sowed the seeds and he looked after his land very well. Go through the text once and find out what is the story about the farmer Velu. For the rain. Adapted from Waiting for the Rain by Kamakshi Balasubramanian. Kamakshi Balasubramanian is an Indian writer who has written many books for children. Her stories introduce children to the different aspects of life in India and its people. Kamakshi Balasubramanian is a retired teacher and she writes stories for children. In this lesson, we are reading a chapter from the big book of Kamakshi Balasubramanian, that is Waiting for the Rain. Let's go through the lesson. Be ready with the text, page number 93. I hope it rains at least today, Velu thought as he opened his eyes. Velu was a farmer. The sun was beginning to rise, glowing crimson like fire. Velu looked at the sky. There was not a cloud. It doesn't look like there is going to be rain, he muttered to himself and got up. Rain or no rain, a farmer wakes up early. Velu worked hard on his piece of land. Season after season, he cultivated it, harvesting jowar one season and dal the next. Throughout the year he worked, never thinking of rest or taking a holiday. It had been the same for 6 years, ever since he had got his own piece of land. But this year was different. Who is Velu here? Yes, Velu is a farmer, that too an hard-working farmer. Season after season, he is cultivating his land and he is doing a hard work and he is not taking a holiday or rest. One season he used to grow jowar and the next season he used to grow dal. This is the picture of the jowar plant and you can see the jowar grains and you can see the picture of dal also. In Kannada we call bele, for jowar we call joda. So Velu was very happy, very hardworking. He didn't take any rest at all and he was cultivating his land. But this year was different for him because after the summer it had not rained only. Without rain they can't plough the land. Means the land will become very hard. It is impossible to plough. If it rains 2 or 3 times, the land will be wet and it will be easy for plowing. Plowing ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೇಗಿಲು ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಉಳುಮೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಭೂಮಿ ಗಟ್ಟಿ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಭೂಮಿ ವೆಟ್ ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು. On that day also, Velu got up and as soon as he gets up, he looks at the sky for the clouds. Is there any clouds today? Will it rain? Like that he is thinking. On that day also, he got up like that only. He looked above, but there were no clothes at all. On that day also, he was unhappy. After the summer, it had not rained at all in the region where Velu lives. So he is telling this year was different. From last 6 years, he has been working hard. But this year, without rain, he is not having any work to do. He has to sit at home waiting for the rain. What will happen? We'll see further. At the end of summer, the rains did not come. Velu and his neighbors waited, but their waiting did not end. Days, weeks and months passed, and still there was no rain. The fields were brown, the soil hardened, crusted and cracked. Every day, the farmers hoped that the rains would come. Someone said, "We ought to sacrifice an animal, a goat. That will please the heavens, and heavens will send down rain." Velu did not agree. He said, "The rain came all these years without any such sacrifice. How will killing a goat bring rain?" He decided to go to the weather office in the city and talk to someone. But the people at the weather office could not really tell him when the rains would come. "We are not sure ourselves," they exclaimed. "It's strange that the rain is still not there." Velu walked back to the village, tired, thirsty and unhappy. He decided to rest for a while. Velu and his neighbors, who are also farmers, were waiting for the rain. Days passed, weeks passed, months passed, and there was no sign of rain at all. No one is there to explain the situation for them, why it is happening. Then someone in the village told that they have to sacrifice a goat for the gods in the heavens, and then they will be pleased and they will send rain to earth. But Velu didn't like that. All these years it used to rain, no. But why this year only it is happening like this? So he did not want to kill any animal for the sake of the rain, and he knew by killing an animal he will not get any rain. Then he decides to go to the weather office in the city. Using satellite pictures and many more scientific instruments, clouds are in which direction clouds are moving and when which place gets the rain, they can tell before only by looking at the picture and movement of the clouds. So Velu went to weather office in the city to know when his place will get rain. But surprisingly, even the weather office people also could not tell when it rains. They are also wondering it should have been rain till now. But why it's not raining? There are no reasons at all. Without any proper guidance from the weather office people, Velu started walking towards his village. He was unhappy, tired and thirsty also. So on the way, he decides to take rest for a while. What will happen? We'll read the text and we'll find out. He saw a large tree. Its shade was cool and inviting. As he sat down, he noticed that an old woman was also sitting there, sheltering from the sun. She was old, but her eyes were bright when she smiled. She looked at Velu, and her smile grew wider. "What are you smiling at, Amma?" Velu asked. "Without the rains, there is nothing to smile about." Yes, you are right," the old woman said. She stopped smiling. "I wonder why this is happening," Velu began. "I have worked hard and honestly, yet I am being punished. Without the rains, no crop will grow. What will happen to me? How shall I feed my family?" he asked sadly. He was not speaking to anyone in particular, but the old woman thought that he was speaking to her. He was tired. He felt like to take rest under the shade of a tree. So he goes there, and there an old woman was sitting there beneath the tree. She was old enough, but her eyes were very bright. As soon as Velu went there, the old woman smiled at Velu. And as Velu went near to her, her smile grew bigger. But Velu was unhappy. So he talks to the old lady. Why are you smiling? From so many days it had not rained at all and there is no work to do. And now I am not able to grow any crops. If like this it continues, how can I feed my family? How can I get food for my family? And even though I am a hard worker, why I am getting this punishment? But the old woman responds to him. What the old woman says, we'll check it further. Perhaps you have worked too hard, she said. What do you mean? I have only done what any hard-working farmer would do. I shall work and never rest until I am too old. This is the first season in 6 years that I have not sown or plowed. Oh, it is hard not to be able to work, said Velu a little angrily. The old woman replies, you might have worked too hard. Because of that thing only it is happening like this, she says. Then Velu gets angry. What are you saying, Amma? As any other farmer, I am also doing the same work. And that too from past 5, he says. Then he corrects himself. No, not 5. From past 6 years, I am doing the same thing. That as any other farmers do, I am also doing the same thing. And till I get old, I will not leave this. Like simply sitting idly at home. I want to do work. Until I'll become old, I'll be doing the same thing only. He says to Amma little angrily. But my son, that is what I am talking about. You have strength now. You can work without a break. But have you thought about the land? The earth works too. When you plow and sow and plant, the earth has worked for years. In fact, thousands of years. The soil, the land, the earth. Shouldn't someone let the land rest a bit? The old woman said, softly smiling. Rest? Let the land rest? I don't understand. Velu looked at her, a little puzzled. Amma replies, that's what I am saying, son. You have worked hard. Like that only the earth. Even the earth has worked for many years. Not only 6 years, from thousands of years it is working and its need a rest. Rest for the land? I don't understand. And he looks little confused. He is wondering what the old woman wants to tell. Yes, my son, that is the problem. You don't realize that earth is old. But nature is a mother to all of us. To you and to me. And to the trees, the water and the soil. She takes care to give her children the rest they need. The old lady said. Velu began to understand. When the rains don't come, you are unhappy. But that way the land is left alone. The land lies rest, staring at the sky. And when the rains come, it will be fresh and ready for your crop. Go home, my son. Nature knows a thing or two. Go home, she said and got up. Velu is little bit confused here. Rest for the land? How it is possible? Then the old lady explains. The earth. is the nature or the mother nature. It knows every human beings, plants, trees, mountains, rivers, everything. She knows how to care them and how to give rest for them. Now you are telling you don't have any work to do, but the earth is taking rest, and when it rains again, the earth will be fresh and you can cultivate the land and you can grow good crops. Now slowly and slowly Velu is understanding all these days without rain, Velu has got rest, and with that even the land has also got rest. Nature knows everything. Don't worry about it. Go home, my son. Everything will be alright. She says like that and she gets up. She walked away. After a while, Velu too got up and walked home. He thought about the land. His beloved piece of land. If the old woman was right, his land was perhaps resting peacefully, taking a break after years of cultivation. Perhaps she is right, he thought. As he approached the village, it was already evening. The sun was low in the sky. And what was that? Velu felt tiny drops on his shoulder. He looked up. Yes, the clouds were gathering in the distance. It was growing dark. Soon there would be lightning and thunder and sweet fragrant rain. Velu ran home laughing and happy. After giving these useful advices to Velu, the old lady got up and she walked on her way. After a few minutes, Velu also got up. Now he has understood what the old lady had told. Happy and convinced now that let his land take rest for few days. And when it rains, I will cultivate the land. Thinking like that, he came near the village, and by the time it was already evening and the sun was going down, he felt something on his shoulders. What was it? Yeah, it was a raindrop. He looks up and sees the sky. The dark clouds are gathering over in the sky. And he learned that within few minutes there will be lightning, thunder and a sweet fragrant rain. Velu is happy to see the sky with the clouds, and he learned it will rain within few minutes. So laughing happily, he went towards his home. Got it, children? Learn two things. First one is we should respect the wisdom of the old lady, which is followed from the ages. And the second thing is, if we want nature to take very good care of we people, first we have to care for the nature. Nature namna ಕಾಪಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ first we have to protect the nature. We should not go against to nature. Got it, children? And that's all about the story of Velu, a hard-working farmer. Hope you all enjoyed and learned two things from this lesson also. Thank you all, children. We'll meet in the next session.